anytime that we give a deadline, people always miss it. So they give you a deadline of March 20th. When am I going to start receiving applications? On March 20th, they probably start calling me saying, Mr. Fred, can I submit the application next week? I know the deadline's today. I've quickly figured out that in Saudi Arabia, kind of sometimes that happens. And that's okay. It's okay. But ideally, the admissions cycle, from the day that you start thinking that you want to come to Kaust and you start applying to Kaust, it takes about a year. So that's why you see from August to August. It doesn't mean that it's going to take you a year to submit the application, but every single step that goes through it, from submitting it, from uploading documents, from us receiving those documents, from us communicating with you, should take about a year. Look at the previous years. If you're admitted to the university, before you start, we will require your official final transcripts. But as you're applying, it's okay to submit documents where you still don't have your grades for the last semester or for the last year. You would also submit or upload your statement of your CV. You would get that uploaded. Any letters of recommendation, make sure that you speak to your people that are going to be recommending you and that they know and that you have their go through the steps and your application moves from one step to the next. Ideally, the next step would be the interview, which will be covered in the next slides. If you successfully complete the interview process, then we go into the offer letter, which if you accept that offer letter, then we start talking about relocation. So once again, the process, if done correctly, should take about a year, but don't get discouraged. You can do it in less time. This will give you an idea of what the process of what your application would go through.
Counts. How do you apply counts? Basically, we focus on 8 major elements that we recommend students to spend more time on preparing their documents for submitting them online. So the first thing first is completion of bachelor's. So you have to get the bachelor's from a university and a program that is aligned with what we offer. So a program is basically science or engineering. And if you can check, if you'd like, you can check our website for all the programs that Kaust offers for master's or PhD. For Saudi students, English is not required. It's highly recommended, which means if you do not have IELTS or TOEFL test, if you don't have an English proficiency test scored, fine, you still can apply, and we will evaluate your English skills during one of the interviews, and basically that also can be tested. And in graduate studies, please do so. If you do not have that, it's fine, it's not required, but it's highly recommended. The fourth requirement that we ask is your GPA. The GPA at Kaust, usually we ask for 3, the minimum required GPA to apply at Kaust is 3.5 out of 4 or 4.5 out of 5. So it depends from which university you graduated. For those who are coming from, who graduated from the UK or graduated from fifth element or the fifth requirement that we are asking is 3 recommendation letters. And I'm going to speak more about it, how to get them, and why they are very important in the, with the admission committee and in the selection. Research experience, especially for PhD students. Basically, you can do is, of course, that you provide us with documents, copies of your university's transcript, your diploma, and of course, your copy of your passport, copy of your ID, and all of the other paperwork that are needed for admission. Finally, the statement of purpose and CV, which are, I believe, they are the most important documents where we can draw a good picture of you. We do not yet know you. We haven't met you before. So throughout these documents, we can at least draw a nice picture about your personality, about your knowledge, as we are a research-based university. So we want to know more about your knowledge and we want to know more about your research knowledge for the admissions. Okay, let's go now for the statement of purpose. Statement of purpose, I think most of you know what is a statement of purpose. Statement of purpose is an academic, it's an essay that you write where you can reflect your experience. Usually we ask for 700-word statement of purpose. Put your experience, with your experience, show us your passion. This is, I think, the first thing, more information where you put a story about yourself by showing your passion. your experience, your educational experience, of course, and your professional experience and research as an example. One picture of you, a good picture to know you more from your basis, and how to make your statement of purpose unique. We believe always that the writer of that statement of purpose should write once, twice, and 3 times. Read it, let one of your friends to read it and to give you feedback, get back to it, or sleep on it and get back to it, write it again, or do some changes, give it to someone, a good friend, or a colleague. This would help you a lot in delivering the right information for the admission committee or the faculty member who is going to have you under his research group.
I'd like to add something to that. So, once again, like Abdul mentioned, the statement of purpose is really an opportunity for you to talk about yourself. So we're going to receive your admissions application. We're going to see a lot of information in there, ideally general information. Where do you live, what your name is, what your age is. And then we're going to receive your transcript. So we're going to be able to learn a little bit about you academically. So how well do you like the biology class, your chemistry class, your physics class. So as we're lining you up and seeing if you're a perfect fit at the university, what sets you different? So we have a lot of students applying from the same university, or we have students from applying from different universities, and out of 2,000, we're only going to accept a few students. What's going to make that student different? So your statement of purpose is really that opportunity for you to tell us something unique about yourself. Abdul mentioned it. You know, if you're just going to tell us list duties that you had somewhere, I'm not sure that that's going to make a big difference. One example is that we've had students submit a statement of purpose that says, I'm a really nice person, I like to go to school, I study really hard, I'm a hard worker, I have good grades, and it sounds really nice, and I would love to go to Kaost as my institution because I've always dreamt about Kaost, and I think Kaost is wonderful. And I think that's a nice statement of purpose. But then you can have another student that writes something about, I really hated physics. And now I look at it and they're going to come study physics at Cal. So it wakes me up and it says, why is this student telling me that they hate physics? And then they go into it and say, but 10 years ago my mom was diagnosed with cancer and it related to this and I studied that and I was so impressed with all these people that I work with. Now I'm one of the students that's taken charge and I've done these things. This is my plan. Kaost has a great program, but this one faculty member that you have, I've been following for the last 3 years. So I need to get to Kaost to be with that professor and do research. Do you know what I'm talking about now? The difference in writing a statement of purpose. So it's not about you fluffing it up, because if we have all these applicants and we only have a certain amount of spaces, we're probably not going to consider you. But if you really talk about something that gives that passion that Abdul mentioned, and that's something that reveals that you care about the industry that you're going to be going into, that's going to help you.
Sorry, just one more point to add for the statement of purpose. As it's the most important document to be submitted for the admissions, I believe. So basically, let's wrap it up for statement of purpose. It's your passion, your experience, and why Kaost. Your passion, your experience, and why Kaost. Why do you see Kaost is a good fit for you, not the opposite? Now let's move to your CV. So CV, basically, we usually ask students or applicants to provide us with one-page CV, depending on your years of experience. So basically, as everybody knows, that CV has to be in a chronological order. So you start with the latest position that you have, or the latest educational degree that you have earned, and then moving on to years before. As an example, we have here some of the elements that are needed in the CV. So your professional experience, your educational experience, your skills, your research skills. This is, I think, this document, I believe, Fred, is one of the documents where you can put down your research skills and bullet points, as an example. If you do have a literature review, if you participated in a research field, please put that down. As I told you before, that we are a research-based university, so researches are very important to mention, whether in your statement of purpose or in your CV.
And as you're applying to grad schools, and we're requiring statement of purposes, we're requiring CVs, it could be overwhelming. And I could see some of you already looking at us saying, wow, where do I even start? How am I going to put that together? We have our office that's available to help you, Saudi Affairs. Anyone in the department can help you through this. But in reality, all of this information that you're seeing, you can get on the internet just by searching in Google how to write a statement of purpose or how to put a CV together. Ideally, you would Google or search for something that says to grad school. So you wouldn't submit to us a statement of purpose that you would submit to an employer, or a CV you wouldn't submit to us for a CV that you would submit to an employer.
A question, is there a specific template of a CV that we are requiring? No, there are different schools of writing CVs. So you can choose whatever CV that you feel comfortable with. What we need is the information that is that are included. Letters of recommendations. So let's talk about it from 3 different perspectives. From our perspective, from a student perspective, and from faculty member perspective. First of all, the templates that some universities are providing students with that. I call it the ready-to-submit templates, if you understand what I mean. So some universities, they have templates which are ready just to put in the name of a student and to submit it to any university for graduate purposes or for jobs, as an example. We do have some samples, or some examples of students who were providing letters of recommendation. This is not the way to provide a recommendation letter. The best way is to go to someone who knows you very well, especially a professor. A professor who you were very dedicated in the course that you took with them. So a course, 2 courses, 3 courses, someone who knows you very well, who can write down a letter of recommendation that is very genuine, that reflects your skills, your commitment, your abilities in research.
Australia.